Hi, my name is Ashley Sotoodeh, and this is my problem solution speech. This is my outline, and this is my source. Okay, and this is my audience. Okay. There's all of them. Okay. Y'all can there you go. All right. So I'm gonna start by asking y'all, basically, how many of y'all have texted or talked on the phone or FaceTimed more than y'all have actually talked to the person? And a lot of y'all would probably say that, includes you. So my topic for my problem solution speech is going to be that we text and we are on the phone and we use our phone more than we used to in the previous years before we were born to communicate with people, and that the face-to-face interaction with people isn't really there anymore. I've had a couple of conversations with people my age and adults about conversation isn't what it's used to be, or isn't what it used to be just because of texting and all of that stuff, and we don't really have the heartfelt moments that we do now because we don't really hang out as much anymore, you know? And I'm going to further elaborate on the nature of texting, the effects of texting, what it has on our social life, unsuccessful attempts of trying to eliminate texting as a boundary of our communication, and then my solution for our problem. I really hope that this speech is able to motivate you guys to hopefully talk more to each other, hang out more, really have that face-to-face communication that a lot of us are not really having anymore. So I'm going to go on to my first point, which is the nature of texting. We've grown up with texting, it's basically the one thing that we pick up in the morning and look to see if anyone has texted us or communicated with us or anything. And it's really a pathway to a lot of things. If we have long distance relationships with friends or significant others or whatever, then it allows us to have that same communication that we hopefully would as hanging out with them, but it's not really there. Or we can check in with our parents through text, which wasn't like that 20 years ago. Or we can ask people to hang out or ask people how they're doing, as opposed to asking them to hang out and then ask what they're doing. And it just kind of creates a distance from everyone because we're so separated while we're asking the questions, but yet we're still connected. An example is having a really bad day, right? And you want to tell your best friend, but you're at your house, you don't really want to hang out with them. Oh, it's really convenient to actually text them and tell them about your bad day, or call them up on the phone. So you call them up on the phone, you're like, hey, this is my bad day, my coworker was stupid and all of this stuff. And it's you can have the accessibility of telling them that just through personal phone call, which is a lot different than what it used to be. Some of the effects that I'm going to talk about the effects that it's had on our communication. Some of the effects is that we're increased in our dependence to our phone. So, like I said, we pick it up the moment we wake up, and then it's the last thing that we see whenever we go to sleep. And one of the statistics that I found from this article by Jeffrey Kluger in Times, and his article is "We Never Talk Anymore: The Problem with Text Messaging." He said that the number of text messages sent monthly to the U.S. Exploded from 14 billion in 2000 to 188 billion in 2010. And that was in 2010, so imagine what it's like in 2015 today. So we're lazier in our conversations with people. We take people for granted in the way that they are, their accessibility to each other, and we have to like decrease face-to-face interaction with people. So it's really changed the way that we've like communicated. And a lot of times, like if someone doesn't answer their phone as like quickly as we want, or like we send a text and we like want that instant reply and we don't get it, we feel like anxiety, we feel sadness because they're not there to talk to us, or they're not, you know, like they're not there to answer. Which leads me to my next point, which is unsuccessful attempts to help the problem. So nowadays we have FaceTime or Tango or Skype, which is like video chatting, which, I mean, it solves the problem with like not having that face-to-face interaction, but we're not really hanging out with the people anymore. We're relying on videos to like bridge that gap. And it's still something. It's good for long-distance relationships. It's still good to communicate with people. You get to see their face. It's something different, but it's still not the same kind of emotion as seeing them face-to-face. And we have group messaging now, which is like how I got like all of y'all together today. And I'm like, hey, let's come to my speech. Who can come or whatever. But group messaging still blocks that barrier between face-to-face communication and being able to actually sit in the room with all of y'all and talk to y'all today. So my solution to the problem of using our phones, text, talk, video message, whatever, is set dates with each other, set more dates with each other, like set spontaneous hangouts, like, hey, you want to go grab coffee, and it's like Monday, and you're like, hey, let's go at 8 p.m. And even if the person's busy or whatever, like just try to get them to hang out with you. Sometimes it can mean a lot. Sometimes like the person wants that communication too. A lot of things people don't do anymore is snail mail. I was in college and I always appreciated a handwritten letter from like a friend or my mom or anything. So I encourage y'all to mail like your family members or a friend, like any of us or anything. Like a handwritten letter really goes a long way, And then just a text less often, and really try to bridge that gap between like face-to-face interaction, because at the end of the day, like, who's to say like what texting and phone calls and video messaging are going to be like 50 years from now? Are we just not going to have that face-to-face interaction anymore, since like from 50 years ago to today, the communication has been like so close-ended. And so in conclusion, I really stress that y'all try to keep an open mind about communication, and y'all really try to, I guess, like, think about it more, think more about the consequences it has in your life, think more about the people in your life and how you can get to know them better. So just to summarize my main points, I talked about the nature of texting, what it's really about, how I feel towards it, the effects of texting on our generation, unsuccessful attempts like FaceTiming and everything, how it's not as really key to face-to-face interaction, and my solution. So once again, I challenge y'all to like put yourself out there more, and ask people to hang out, and write each other a letter, and just text us often. So there you go. That's my speech.